True. So imagine our surprise when we found commissioners and even staff members have a private plane that they can use to jet around the state anytime they want. And they don't have to pay a dime, but you do. Tonight, Fox 4 investigates what some are calling the county's secret jet. 4 in the Corner investigator Mike Mason joins us live to explain.
Yeah, we found Lee County taxpayers are paying for flights even if the pilot is the only one on board. And you may be surprised to hear what officials told us when we confronted them about it.
As County Commissioner, please take a look at my new private plane.
When newly elected Commissioner Larry Kiker heard Lee County officials owned a private plane and were using it to jet around the state, he was concerned.
I knew nothing of the plane. I was talking to someone and they said, "Did you know?" And I'm like, "You got to be kidding me."
So he had to see it for himself.
Where do we spend the money?
A couple of months ago, while using his iPad, he shot this video of the twin-engine Piper Navajo at Page Field. He now has serious questions about how that plane is being used.
I saw that son of a gun and I said, "This is not right. It doesn't look right, doesn't smell right."
It's a personal toy for the county.
Rob Weber is also concerned. He's a pilot himself and stays connected with local politics. He wants to know why county officials are allowed to use a plane to fly to places within driving distance.
Why we are spending this kind of money to fly these people, it's just ridiculous.
Fox 4 requested information about the plane and found it's owned by the Lee County Port Authority, acquired 20 years ago in a drug forfeiture. In the past 2 years, officials with the Port Authority have taken 36 flights, and Lee County commissioners have used it 20 times. The cost of operating this small plane? More than $85,000 in fiscal year 2010 and 11, and $76,000 in 2011 and 12. But when we began crunching the numbers, things didn't seem to add up. The Port Authority estimates the hourly cost of flying the plane is about $1,000 per hour. That includes fuel and all costs associated with the aircraft. For example, according to the Port Authority, they spent about $7,000 to fly 4 people to Tallahassee last year. In their annual report, they claim to have saved money because that trip would have cost more than $24,000 to book on a commercial airline, according to a software program they use to compare expenses. So we went to the Port Authority for answers.
I just don't understand how you could say that it could be $24,000 when you have a charter company here that will do it for $2,800.
You're arguing about software that we don't provide. We don't have the software. We didn't make the software.
Spokesperson Vicki Moreland says the software factors expenses such as salaries of staff members for the time they're out of the office, hotel fees and meals. But could using a private plane really save a reported $150,000 last year?
As a businessman, I'm going to question, where's your $150,000 savings?
This airplane and the way they're trying to justify it is just ridiculous.
But we found something that may be even more disturbing.
When Commissioner Frank Mann needed to fly to Tallahassee and spend the night, the pilot flew back here to Fort Myers and picked them up the next day.
Mann tells us in 2011, on 2 occasions, pilot James Cothard told him he needed to fly back to Fort Myers to take care of his exotic cats. So each extra trip doubled the 3-hour flight time, making it 6.4 hours. And at $1,000 per flight hour, that's more than $6,000 to fly a commissioner to Tallahassee.
The chief pilot wasn't going to stay over there in Tallahassee because he had to take care of his cats. That's why he said he had to go back.
The airplane always is returned back. I don't know what anyone told Commissioner Mann. I did ask Mr. Cothard if he said anything about it. He said he does not recall that conversation.
I knew that he had cats that he took care of when he got home.
But the Port Authority contends it's standard procedure to return the plane to Fort Myers each night. So every time a county official or staff member needs to spend the night somewhere, the pilot flies solo back to Page Field and then goes back to pick them up the next day.
Is that a waste?
That seems insane. It absolutely sounds insane.
When you're taking double trips, basically an additional $3,000 to let the pilot come back instead of spending the night. I mean, it's big cost difference. You know,
yeah.
Hotel's going to cost you $100 and something bucks a night, not $3,000.
I find it a little bit difficult to believe that it would be more expensive to put the pilot up overnight.
When the Tallahassee legislature is in session, hotel rooms are not $49, or if you're traveling during peak times in Florida, you can have hotel rooms that exceed several $100s.
Moreland also contends the aircraft doesn't cost taxpayers a dime, and the county is not billed for its services.
And we don't get any of our revenues from the property tax dollars. We're completely funded by money that comes in from and derived from our partners here at the airport.
But Fox 4 found that's not exactly true.
Taxpayers do have to pay for the use of the plane while county commissioners are flying it.
So there are tax dollars involved.
Clearly.
In fact, each time a county official flies on the plane, the cost of fuel and pilot time is billed back to the county. In 2010 and 11, the county paid out more than $10,000. And in 2011 and 12, the county was billed over $9,000, and those are your tax dollars.
For them to say that it's not costing the taxpayers money, it's just some more of their fuzzy math.
And Weber says even though the rest of the flights are paid by the Port Authority, it is still passed on to the public.
If they're saying it comes from airline fees and stuff like that, every time you purchase a ticket, you're paying for those fees.
And that's one reason Mann wants to sell the plane, something Commissioner Larry Kiker now supports.
For $300,000, we can probably sell this plane.
Just for a general service that's offered to staff as well as elected officials, then I think that that might be a point of contention with a lot of people.
And Larry Kiker says as soon as he takes office, he'll support a motion to sell the plane. The board that oversees the Port Authority is comprised of Lee County Commissioners. Live in the studio, Mike Mason, Fox 4 in your corner.